Have you ever wondered why some people seem to move freely among powerful individuals, while others stay invisible no matter how hard they try? Why one conversation opens doors, while another closes them forever? This is not luck. This is not privilege. This is understanding power at its root. Most people believe power is random. They think it belongs to the rich, the famous, or the loud. They assume access is granted through favors, flattery, or endless networking. That belief is exactly why they remain outside the room, looking in. Power does not respond to noise. Power responds to something far more subtle and far more ruthless. If you stay until the very end of this video, you will walk away with a mental shift that changes how people with influence see you forever. Not because you try harder, but because you finally understand how power actually works. Here is the uncomfortable truth. Powerful people live in a different psychological world. They are constantly observed, constantly approached, constantly asked for something. Over time, they develop a sharp internal filter, a filter that instantly separates value from weakness, strength from need, calm from chaos, and they make this judgment within seconds, often without realizing it. This is why effort alone fails. This is why being nice is ignored. This is why trying too hard creates distance instead of connection. Power does not feel sympathy for ambition. Power respects clarity. The first ruthless law you must understand is this: power is attracted, never chased. The moment you chase it, you reveal dependence. And dependence is the fastest way to lose respect. Powerful people sense need the way sharks sense blood. Not because they are cruel, but because need creates instability. And instability is dangerous in their world. Most people enter conversations wanting something: approval, attention, opportunity, validation. They carry this desire in their tone, their posture, their words. They think they are hiding it. They are not. Power sees it immediately, and the response is distance. The second law is even harder to accept. Power is calm. It moves slowly. It does not rush. It does not explain itself. When someone speaks too fast, over-explains, or fills silence with noise, it signals inner chaos. And chaos is never trusted. Silence, on the other hand, signals control. It suggests that you are comfortable with yourself, that you are not afraid of judgment, that you do not need to prove anything. This is why calm people often command rooms without saying much at all. Power also does not reward effort. It rewards results, clarity, and perspective. This is the third law. You may work harder than everyone else. You may struggle longer. But power does not connect to struggle. It connects to solutions. When you understand this, your entire approach changes. You stop talking about how difficult your journey is. You start speaking about what you see clearly that others miss. Another brutal truth most people avoid is this: power does not care about your intention. It responds to your presence. Presence is not confidence in the loud sense. It is grounded certainty. It is emotional control. It is the ability to stay composed when others react. This is the fourth law. Emotional discipline is one of the strongest signals of authority. When you do not react impulsively, when you pause instead of defend, when you listen more than you speak, you communicate strength without words. Here is where most people make a fatal mistake. They assume powerful people want to be impressed. They do not. They want to feel safe. They want to feel understood. They want to feel that their time is respected. This leads to the fifth law. Power values simplicity. Clear thoughts, direct language, no unnecessary drama. When you can express something complex in a simple way, you demonstrate mastery, and mastery is magnetic. Understand this clearly. Power is not evil. It is efficient. It moves toward what reduces friction and away from what creates it. If you bring confusion, you are avoided. If you bring clarity, you are remembered. If you bring emotional weight, you are tolerated. If you bring emotional stability, you are trusted. This is why access is never given to those who beg for it. It is offered to those who already act like they belong, not with arrogance, but with self-respect, with boundaries, with an inner stillness that says, I am complete whether you choose me or not. This is only the beginning. These laws are not meant to make you ruthless toward others. They are meant to make you ruthless toward your own weakness, toward habits that keep you small, toward behaviors that silently push power away. Stay with this until the end, Because the final law will show you how to become someone powerful people notice without you ever asking to be noticed. If power is attracted and never chased, then the real work begins long before any conversation happens. It begins inside you. Long before you speak to powerful people, you are already sending signals about whether you belong in their world. These signals are not spoken. They are felt, and they are impossible to fake for long. The first inner law is this: insecurity is louder than words. You may dress well. You may prepare perfectly. But if you are secretly measuring yourself against others, power feels it. Comparison creates tension. Tension creates need, and need repels respect. Powerful people do not connect with those who are trying to become someone. They connect with those who already stand firmly in who they are. This is why self-approval comes before external approval. When you no longer seek permission to exist, your energy changes, your posture shifts, your voice slows, you stop performing, and performance is exhausting to watch. Power prefers authenticity, not because it is kind, but because it is efficient. Authentic people are predictable, and predictability creates trust. Another inner law is emotional restraint. Most people believe expressing everything makes them real. In reality, it makes them transparent. When you reveal every thought, every frustration, every doubt, you remove all mystery. Power is drawn to those who are selective, those who choose what to reveal and what to hold back. Not out of fear, but out of awareness. This does not mean becoming cold, it means becoming centered. When you are centered, you do not react instantly. You observe, you pause, you allow space between stimulus and response. That space is power. It signals that you are not controlled by the moment. And anyone who cannot be controlled by the moment is dangerous in the best way. Silence plays a critical role here. Silence is not emptiness, it is confidence. When you are comfortable with silence, you show that you do not need to fill gaps to feel worthy. Many people rush to speak because silence exposes their insecurity. Powerful people often speak last, not because they are calculating, but because they are grounded. Another ruthless inner law is detachment from outcome. This is where most fail. They walk into interactions hoping for something specific, a favor, an opportunity, a connection. That hope becomes pressure. Pressure leaks through tone and body language. Detachment removes pressure. When you are detached, you are free. You can listen deeply. You can respond clearly. You can walk away without resentment. That freedom is felt immediately. Detachment does not mean lack of ambition. It means ambition without desperation. It means you are moving forward regardless of who approves. This mindset alone elevates you above the majority, because most people are waiting to be chosen. Power respects those who choose themselves first. You must also understand the inner law of boundaries. People with influence live in a world of constant intrusion. When someone lacks boundaries, they become a burden. When someone respects their own time, emotions, and energy, they are seen as an equal, saying less, asking less, expecting less. These are not signs of weakness. They are signs of self-command. Your internal dialogue matters more than you realize. If you see yourself as lucky to be here, power will see you the same way. If you see yourself as grounded and capable, power responds differently. This is not imagination. Humans mirror each other unconsciously. The way you hold yourself teaches others how to treat you. Another crucial inner shift is abandoning the need to impress. Impressing is a form of begging in disguise. It says, "Please see my worth." Powerful people do not need convincing. They need alignment. When you stop trying to stand out, you often become unforgettable. Because you are no longer competing for attention, you are offering presence. Presence is calm awareness. It is listening without planning your next sentence. It is responding instead of reacting. It is being fully where you are. This level of presence is rare, and rarity creates value. Here is the hard truth. You cannot connect upward while carrying internal chaos. You cannot demand respect while doubting yourself. You cannot enter rooms of power while secretly believing you do not belong. The inner laws are not optional. They are the foundation. When you master yourself, you stop seeking power, and that is exactly when power begins to notice you. When inner stability is established, something powerful happens. You stop asking, "How do I be noticed?" and start asking, "What do I bring?" This shift separates those who admire power from those who interact with it. Because once you are centered, the next filter appears. Value. Power does not connect emotionally first. It connects practically. This is where many well-composed people still fail. They are calm, they are confident, but they are empty-handed. Presence opens the door. Value keeps it open. The first value law is simple and unforgiving. Power listens to usefulness, not effort, not loyalty, not admiration, usefulness. This does not mean money. It means relevance, insight, perspective, solutions, something that reduces complexity or increases clarity. When you offer this, you become memorable without trying. Most people approach power with stories, long explanations, personal struggles, background details. They believe context creates connection. In reality, it creates fatigue. Powerful people live in a world of constant information overload. They do not need more input. They need better signal. When you speak clearly and concisely, you signal that you respect their mental space. This leads to another ruthless laws: bring clarity, not problems. Anyone can point out what is wrong. Very few can explain what matters. Fewer still can explain it simply. When you frame situations cleanly, when you reduce noise instead of adding to it, you position yourself as someone who thinks at a higher level. Value is often quiet. It does not announce itself. It does not say, "Look how helpful I am." It shows up prepared. It listens carefully. It speaks only when something meaningful can be added. This restraint creates impact. Because when you speak rarely, your words carry weight. Another misunderstood truth is this: value is not always about answers. Sometimes it is about questions. The right question can shift perspective. It can expose blind spots. It can unlock insight. Powerful people remember those who help them see differently, not those who agree with them. This requires courage, because offering perspective means you are not trying to please. You are trying to be useful. There is a difference. Pleasing lowers your position. Usefulness elevates it. Power does not want echoes. It wants clarity. Efficiency is another signal of value. When you respect time, you respect power. This means getting to the point. This means not circling your message. This means knowing why you are speaking before you speak. Rambling is not authenticity. It is lack of preparation. And preparation is a form of respect. There is also a psychological law at play here. Humans value what feels rare. When someone brings clear thinking in a chaotic world, they stand out immediately, not because they are loud, but because they reduce mental strain. This is deeply attractive to power. Do not underestimate emotional value. Calm energy in stressful environments is a resource. Being composed when others panic is leverage. Listening without judgment is leverage. Seeing patterns others miss is leverage. Value is not always tangible, but it is always felt. Another critical shift is moving from self-expression to contribution. Self-expression asks, "How do I show who I am?" Contribution asks, "What does this moment need?" Power responds to the second question, because it signals maturity. It signals awareness beyond the self. This also means knowing when not to speak. Silence can be value if it prevents confusion. Restraint can be value if it maintains focus. Not every thought needs air. Not every insight needs display. Selectivity is intelligence in action. One of the most powerful positions you can hold is being low drama and high impact. No emotional pull, no hidden agenda, just clarity and usefulness. People with influence gravitate toward those who make their world lighter, not heavier. Understand this deeply. Value is not what you claim. It is what others experience after interacting with you. Do they feel clearer, calmer, more focused? If the answer is yes, you are already closer to power than you think. When you bring value consistently, something shifts. You are no longer asking for access. Access begins to form around you. And when power starts to listen without you asking, you have crossed an invisible line. When value is established, behavior becomes the final filter. This is where many capable people quietly disqualify themselves, not because they lack intelligence or usefulness, but because their behavior reveals their true position before they ever speak. Power reads behavior the way others read words. Every interaction is a test, not a cruel one, a natural one. Powerful people are constantly evaluating who can handle proximity to influence, and they do this by watching how you move, not what you promise. Behavior is the language power trusts most. One of the most unforgiving laws is this: never over-explain. Over-explaining signals doubt. It says you are trying to convince instead of communicate. When you explain something once, clearly, and then stop, you demonstrate certainty. Certainty creates confidence. Confidence creates authority. Repeating yourself weakens your position. Another behavioral law is emotional control under pressure. Anyone can appear composed when things are easy. Power notices who stays steady when tension enters the room. When you do not rush to defend yourself, when you do not react to provocation, you send a powerful signal. You show that your self-worth is not negotiable. Time behavior is also revealing. Those who demand time expose entitlement. Those who respect time show awareness. Power gives access to those who understand its cost. This means arriving prepared, speaking with intention, leaving space when needed. Presence without intrusion is a rare skill. Never beg for attention. Never linger for validation. Lingering communicates need. Need changes the dynamic instantly. Power is comfortable with distance. When you are also comfortable with distance, the balance remains intact. Equality begins where desperation ends. Another subtle law is how you handle disagreement. Agreement does not build respect. Clarity does. When you disagree calmly, without ego or aggression, you show strength. You show that you are not afraid of losing approval. Power respects those who can hold their ground without making it personal. Watch how you respond to praise. Chasing it lowers you. Dismissing it awkwardly lowers you too. Receiving it calmly, without inflation or deflection, shows balance. Balance is a sign of internal order. Internal order signals reliability. Behavior also includes what you do when nothing is happening. Do you fidget? Do you fill space? Do you look restless? Stillness is powerful. Stillness shows you are not ruled by anxiety. When you can sit comfortably in silence, you project confidence without effort. Another ruthless behavioral rule is discretion. Power remembers those who can be trusted with information. If you talk too freely, if you overshare, if you repeat stories that were not meant to travel, you close doors silently. Discretion signals maturity. It says you understand weight. Observe how you exit interactions. Endings matter. Ending cleanly, without dragging, without squeezing for more, leaves a strong impression. It shows you are complete, that you do not need to extract something to feel whole. Power notices this more than long conversations. Your digital behavior matters as well. Messages that are concise, responses that are thoughtful, silence when silence is appropriate, oversending, overreacting, overchecking. These habits reveal inner state, and inner state always leaks outward. Another important law is this: never explain your worth. Your behavior should speak for you. The moment you announce your value, you diminish it. Power evaluates quietly. It rewards quietly. Trust that your consistency will be noticed. Most people think power is impressed by dominance. It is not. It is impressed by control. Control of emotions. Control of language. Control of energy. Those who control themselves never need to control others. Understand this clearly. You are always teaching people how to treat you. Through tone. Through pacing. Through restraint. Through presence. Behavior is a mirror. Power responds to what it sees reflected. When your behavior aligns with your value and your inner stability, something changes. You stop being evaluated. You start being considered. And consideration is the doorway most never reach. When behavior, value, and inner stability align, the chase ends. Something subtle shifts. You are no longer trying to enter rooms. Rooms begin to sense you. This is where most people misunderstand the final law. They think becoming unignorable means being louder, bolder, more visible. In reality, it means becoming undeniable. Power notices patterns, not moments. One impressive interaction means little. Consistent presence changes everything. When your standards stay high even when no one is watching, power feels it over time. This is the quiet force most people never develop because it requires patience. The final law is this: stop positioning yourself for attention and start positioning yourself for inevitability. Inevitability is built through focus, through long-term commitment to your craft, your thinking, your discipline. When you are deeply engaged in building something meaningful, you emit gravity. People with influence are drawn to gravity. Distance plays a crucial role here. Distance creates curiosity. When you are always available, always responsive, always present, you become predictable. Predictability lowers perceived value. Strategic distance is not manipulation. It is self-respect. It signals that your time and energy are directed somewhere important. Power does not trust those who orbit. It trusts those who move with purpose. When you are consumed by your own mission, you stop monitoring who notices you. And paradoxically, that is when you become noticeable. Because you are no longer reactive. You are directional. Consistency is what separates potential from presence. Anyone can appear impressive once. Very few can remain composed, useful, and disciplined over time. Power watches for this, quietly, patiently. Those who remain steady through boredom, resistance, and delay stand out without effort. Another truth most avoid is this: power respects standards more than talent. Talent without standards becomes unreliable. Standards without noise become intimidating. When you refuse to lower your behavior, your thinking, or your output to fit the room adjusts to you. You do not need to announce your boundaries. You live them. You do not need to demand respect. You demonstrate it. You do not need to ask for recognition. You build something that cannot be ignored. This is where many people break, because invisibility during the building phase feels painful, it feels unfair, it feels lonely. But this phase is essential. Power rarely trusts those who rise too fast. It trusts those who endure. Focus sharpens your presence. Distraction dissolves it. When you eliminate unnecessary noise from your life, your energy becomes cleaner. Your thinking becomes sharper. Your words carry more weight. Power is drawn to those who are internally organized. Understand this deeply. The goal is not to be liked by powerful people. The goal is to be respected by reality. When your life reflects discipline, clarity, and purpose, powerful people simply recognize what already exists. Another critical shift is releasing resentment. Resentment leaks weakness. It signals that you are still negotiating with the past. Power is forward-moving. It connects to those who are oriented toward creation, not compensation. When you stop needing acknowledgement, you gain authority. When you stop explaining your path, you gain mystique. When you stop rushing outcomes, you gain control. These are not tricks. They are natural consequences of alignment. You become unignorable when your presence creates impact without demand. When people leave interactions feeling clearer, calmer, or more focused. When your absence is felt more than your presence. This is influence at its highest level. Power does not crown you. It responds to you. It senses who is ready, who is stable, who is building something real. When you become that person, connection stops being a strategy. It becomes a byproduct. And when that happens, you realize something important. You were never meant to chase powerful people. You were meant to become powerful enough that connection is inevitable.